Why are you so low?
So I can sit at the dining table.
Okay, raise it back up. My bun is about to fall out.
No.
Look at that. That's a big ass bun. And it's all crooked. Can you tell that I slept in it?
I just woke up and I look like this bun.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Can you interact with our background?
Touched it.
No. Can you like grab that and hand it here?
Sure, yeah. Okay.
I expected that to go one of two ways.
Me just pick it up and hand it to you.
Yeah. Or you to fumble, like joking that it's too heavy.
That's what I was going for, and I slapped
it. Yep. So exactly.
I fumbled the fumble.
No.
Football.
No.
I think that's a call.
No, you did exactly what you did fumble it. That's it. You didn't fumble the fumble.
I fumbled the fumble.
Unless you're saying you were intentionally going to fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
And then you fucked up intentionally fucking up.
Yeah.
No. That's not what happened. You idiot.
Say it. Say it.
No, you know what? Okay, fine. I will say it. I'm done with this.
All right.
I'm done with this podcast.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in today. You can catch our socials down in the description.
My least favorite cold open.
No, it's not.
S.
Soup.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SMSoup, the #1 podcast with soup in the name, but not on the brain. I'm Spencer.
And I'm Shelby.
And this is Milady. She's away.
Leaving.
And together, the three of us are here to take you on a journey through life's biggest questions. Like, waiter, how is the soup made? Shelby.
Yeah? Stop looking like you want to die whenever I talk.
How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, it's been years since I've said that. I'm great. She's great. She's great. No.
What'd I do?
We've been doing a lot of fun stuff. Weather's been great. It's been a little hot, but I'm not complaining. Weather's been great. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to be one of those people who complains about the weather. Not for me. Milady is great. Let them know, Milady. Sorry for audio listeners. She's just staring at us. Anyway. No, it's great. That's all I have to say. I'm going in with this current stage of time as being, I think, toxically positive so that I can overweigh whatever these next few months have in store. That's what I'm going for right now. It's the energy I'm trying to channel. Just a few updates to name the least. We went to a women's soccer game. Professional women's soccer game.
Yuck.
That was fun. A lot of fun. Fucking sweat our asses off, but it was a lot of fun.
That's officially why I no longer have an ass.
That's why.
It's not because I've never had an ass.
We left it all on the bench.
It's because it's definitely just because I sweat it all
off. Went to go see Lion King in is it? Do you call it the Broadway show if it's not on Broadway? I don't know. Answer that question.
Okay.
I know we've had this conversation before.
No. You don't get to ask this clarifying question. When I said Lion King on Broadway and you slapped me with the elitist, it's not on Broadway.
Well, because I don't know if you say it differently.
So you
I felt confident. I did not attack you.
And told me I was wrong.
I did not attack you.
And made me feel like a little ant.
A little ant. I did not attack you. I felt confident in that answer at that point in my life.
To put me down.
And about 3 months ago, I no longer feel confident in that. But hey, when you get knocked down, you get up again. But yeah, we saw Lion King. That was a blast. There was something else. Oh, we got Vampire Survivors. all 3 activities on the same level of excitement?
This was a Shelby week. This
Yeah, it
was
was
a
great.
Shelby week to end all Shelby weeks.
It was amazing.
We did not do a single thing this week that I wanted to do. It was just all things. Everything's coming up Shelby.
Is it my birthday?
Shelby goes to a women's soccer game. Spencer hates women's sports almost as much as he hates women. We go see a musical and we see The Lion King. 2 known facts about Spencer: he hates musicals, and which that was also. First off, I'm joking. I love musicals, but Shelby and I have been together for
A long time. A millennium.
almost a decade.
Almost. Next year it'll be a decade. This year it's 9 years. Wait, when this comes out, it'll be 9 years.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
How do
2015.
numbers work?
I don't know. But if
2015,
I do the math,
16's 1,
no, we don't
17
count.
2.
We don't start with 0.
2015 to 2016 is 1 year.
Yeah.
So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, 24. Okay, it does line up right.
Okay, yeah.
You know how that?
Yeah,
you know
I do.
how
It
counting
pisses
works
me
sometimes?
off. It pisses me
You know
off.
how counting is weird
Yes.
sometimes?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be 9 years
When this comes out.
when this comes out.
Or days after this comes out.
Yeah. Anyway,
Somewhere in there. It'll be 9 years. Almost a decade.
and we've known each other even longer.
Yeah.
But like,
Sure.
anyway,
Besides the point.
we were at The Lion King, and you're looking through the playbill, one of my favorite activities, and you were like looking at shows that are like going to be coming or also just going to be in the area and are going to
Yeah.
be like on the stage,
Yeah.
as you will, not Broadway. And you were like, I want to see this one. I want to see this one. I want to see this one. And you like turned to me and you're like, which one do you want to see? And I looked at them and I was like, none of them.
You were not matching my
I
energy.
don't want to see any of them.
Even a little bit.
And then you hit me with, do you not like musicals? And it's
Okay,
just an insane thing to ask
Okay.
somebody.
What I meant to, I think,
9
ask.
years into being together is like, it's just asinine to like say that. That's like me, like, it's like you wearing red right now and me being like, do you like red? Do you like the color red? That's crazy.
Okay, I shouldn't have just asked, do you not like musicals? I know you like musicals. I guess I was like, are performances really your thing? Like, wouldn't you, like, I guess, would you rather just like watch a movie musical? Because I feel like some people probably have a difference. It didn't feel like you were matching my energy being there.
Because,
Even remotely close to matching my energy.
like, okay, the options were like Wicked,
Which I really want to see.
and I just don't know if I care about Wicked.
Okay.
I don't know if I really care about The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, that's fine.
So you're like Wicked. And I was just like, and then I clarified and was like, will I go? Sure. But do I want to go see these? No, I don't want to see any of these. What was the other one? Shucked,
Yeah, shocked.
which is a musical comedy about Kern.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I won't go and end up having a blast and it'll rock it up to being one of my favorites.
Right.
But as I sit there,
Right.
if somebody's like, do you want to waste your time going to a musical
Waste your time.
that you know nothing about? I am going to be one of those people where, and this is the inverse to how I am with movies.
I know.
I'm going to be one of those people where it's just like, I don't know. I'm nervous. It's an Italian restaurant and I'm just going to get the lasagna.
I think that's what's crazy to me is how you are with movies that you aren't a little bit more interested in. Like, I want to see more. I shouldn't say obscure because I don't know about Shucked, but I want to see more shows I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm totally down.
Yeah.
You asked if there's any that I want to,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I'm not going to make the decision. You're
Sure.
just going to choose whichever one and we'll go, and I'm going to end up having a great time.
Yeah.
But it was just crazy for you to be like, do you just not like musicals?
I shouldn't have worded it the way I worded it. That's not what I meant.
And do I like, and then to peel back the layer, the way you meant it was, do you like live performances, I guess, is what you're trying to say?
Like, well, I'm trying to not say Broadway performances. Like,
because it's not Broadway.
Broadway
If it was
musicals
Broadway,
and
I'd be
plays.
so in. Asshole.
Aw.
And even then, my answer would be, yeah, I do. But, and you might sit there and be like, well, then why haven't we gone to any in the 9 years that we've been together? And one, the answer to that would be probably just poor timing a lot of the time. And two, so often you try to get us to go to like amateur fucking hour. And it's like, there was what, like a school or in like, and not like a high school. It was like
Theater school.
like
kids.
preteens are going to be doing a play. And you're like, this could be fun. And I'm like, there is nothing worse than child actors. There's nothing worse than 10-year-olds
right.
singing.
I do agree.
Because some 10-year-olds can sing.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, good for them. They are in the minority.
Yeah, I know. I was impressed by the kids singing in The Lion King. Because I get very nervous when a kid's about to start singing.
Yeah, but that you shouldn't be nervous about because
but I
they're
am.
a part of
Very
like,
professional group of people.
right.
I know.
So they're going to be like the best.
I know.
They're going to be able to pick from that minority group of teens that cannot sing.
Yeah.
And pick the ones that can.
Yeah. No, I know.
That's how you get into something like that, is by being good.
Yeah. It was great. Did you enjoy the show?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was great. I cried the minute it started because I was so excited to be there.
You cried?
The minute it started. Lights went down and you literally hear Rafiki and I was like, tears. I was so excited to be there. It's been so long since I've seen a show.
You cried.
Yeah, I did. Straight up. I was just so
You cried?
I was so excited, dude. Like, so excited.
Did you cry when
my favorite
Are you
show.
about to cry now?
No.
Did you cry when you finally got to play Vampire Survivors?
No, but I was fucking.
What the fuck?
I was.
Did you cry at the women's soccer game?
No.
Okay, so it feels like you
It
just
was,
didn't really care about any
you
of
might
this
have
other
thought
stuff.
it. You might have thought I did, but it was
Your
sweat rolling down
rolling
my
out of your
face.
eyes. Your eyes were sweating, actually.
Which, oh my god, I guess I've never been someone to order tickets to sporting events. They called me and they were like, "Are you coming to our next game?" And I had to be the asshole who was like, "No, I can't." They were like, we'd love to help you get tickets to our next game."
That's pretty cool.
And I was like, "Wow, I'd love to go to your next game. I fucking can't. Can you send me a bucket hat?"
I will be out of town. Please call me for the next one. Because I would like that help in case it's packed.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, it was great. And then yeah, we got the game Vampire Survivors, which I've played twice in my life, both a few years ago, and a few years ago, like 2 years ago. And it finally came to PlayStation this week. Spencer had it loaded up and ready to go the day it was out. And I literally have never had a greater time sitting 100% mute on a sofa, just staring at a screen. And I was like, oh, this is why people play video games. I get it. For hours on end.
All things coming up, Shelby.
All things coming up, Shelby. Spencer, how are you doing?
And then also another thing that was clearly just for you is we watched Room and you ugly cried.
I cried.
You ugly cried.
Half the movie. Dude, that movie fucks me up.
Ugly cried.
I did. I was so upset. I could cry right now, like thinking about it. Actually,
I probably if I thought about it hard enough, I probably could too. If I'm being honest, but
that movie actually devastates me.
Which we won't get into because it's part of Movie Club for
forever
2015.
away from now. Yeah, I literally like getting tear-eyed thinking about that movie.
No, I feel you. But the best way to put it, as I put it afterwards, after we watched it, was like it's like watching A Man Called Otto, where it's just like the entire movie has you on the edge of tears.
Yeah,
like the entire time.
Yeah,
I didn't cry.
I cannot believe you didn't cry.
But I got so close. There's one moment in particular, and it's about halfway through when I turned and looked at you, and you were
fucking bawling.
And like, I'm not trying to be mean
when
I say it.
I was ugly crying.
You were ugly crying.
I was very much ugly crying.
There's no other way to say it. I don't know if I've ever seen you ugly cry like that before. It was like
I couldn't stop. I literally couldn't stop. Like, I think from the beginning, I was like, yep, I'm going to cry so much in this movie. And then it felt like about every 30 minutes, something made me tear up. And then, yeah, I don't even remember.
Well, it's a 2-hour movie, so that's every 30 minutes. That means you only cried 4 times.
That's a lot for a movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I was fucking crying. That movie kills me inside.
Do you think that's the movie that like gets you the most?
I would say so. I don't know of any other movie that actually gets me to cry that much through the whole movie. Like truly gets me to cry through the movie without being like, okay, obviously, in case you've never seen Room, it is just in its concept a very horrible story.
Yeah,
like a very sad,
devastating
story involving kidnap, abuse, etc. But it's all from like
save it for the
well, no,
movie
I'm just saying like in case people want to look it up. I just like want to be clear about like it hits on hard stuff.
Yes.
But it's mostly told through the lens of the child, who's 5. It is based off a book in case you're like a person who likes to read pre-watching something. I'm just getting into that because it's around the kid. In one hand, that always makes me sadder.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my God, like it's sad to anyone, but once you see a kid's included, you're like, I want to die. Yeah. And then 2, but it also like alleviates some of the actual intensity of it because a kid can't comprehend what's happening. Right. So it's like twofold. So like if that would have been told from the perspective of like the adult the whole time, I probably still would have been crying because it's fucking awful. But it also, I think, would have been told in a much more dramatic sense. Sure. So it's like, sorry, what I'm trying to get at is like, I can't think of any other movie that's not just straight up in your face horrific, like physically shows you horrible things. But even that, like, probably wouldn't make me cry. Like, I think it was the like mix of like loss of innocence, but through the lens of such an innocent person that like has me crying the whole time. Like, I think that for me is the thing. Like, I can't read books through the lens of like a preteen that like they're experiencing really bad things, but they're not really aware of what they're experiencing. I read a book like that. I'm blanking on what it's called. Something about octopus, hidden like an octopus, because like an octopus can like cloak.
Yeah.
It has something to do with that. I forget the name. I'll look it up and leave it in the description because I feel like mean only half saying it. Great book, but it's literally told through the lens of like a 12-year-old who is clearly going through like a lot as like a family and a person, but they don't quite know everything. Like they do, but they don't. And I find that so devastating. Like I cannot. That is a topic that like hurts me. Is all I'm getting at. I don't think any other movie makes me cry as much as Room. I originally saw that in theaters when it first came out. And it was considered an indie release. So we had to go to like a really obscure theater, like almost an hour away to go see it upon its release. And yeah, it was when we were living in Pittsburgh. But yeah, that was my only time seeing it was in theaters. And it stuck with me so hard.
Yeah.
Until we watched it last night.
I feel like it's definitely a movie that sticks with you.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's insane. Anyway, Spencer, how are you?
Trying to think, there was a movie recently that got me to cry. I can't remember what it was.
Toy Story 3. We already went over this.
It was Toy Story 3.
Is that what you're thinking of?
I think so.
I was like, I can't think of another movie that you really cried in recently.
Toy Story 3 and definitely A Man Called Otto when we watched that.
Man Called Otto. Book made me cry. So at least I could prepare myself for the movie.
And then Forrest Gump always makes me cry.
Really?
Yeah.
I cannot say the last time I've watched it and if I've even watched it in its entirety.
You have.
Okay, I have.
I hate you.
He hates me.
I'm good.
That's good.
It's a whole week of just doing things that you want to do.
And didn't you have a great time?
Nope. I didn't enjoy any of it. That's right. I hate my wife. No, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And obviously, I'm joking. These were all your ideas.
They were all my ideas. Yeah.
However, they were all things I was more than happy to do.
Yeah.
The Lion King.
But never again.
Was really funny, though, because we talked about it last week in the podcast episode. But I thought we landed on not going.
Yeah. We touched on that for about 2 seconds.
But I'm still, like, I'm happy we did.
Yeah.
And I'm happy you, like, did buy the tickets. And I do know that is how the conversation ended. But for whatever reason, my mind blanked it out.
Yeah.
And so I thought
You
we
had
didn't.
convinced yourself that we had looked at our
I
week,
gaslit myself.
which was very packed, and you went, "We don't have time."
Like,
and
really
and
packed.
you were like, every night has something,
Right.
and we don't like to do that because then we feel like dead inside. And so, so we like looked at it, and I was like, but I had forgotten about the Lion King being here, and I was like, okay, but this is our last week to see it. Like, how bad do we want to see it? Which for me, I wanted to want to see it pretty bad. So I was like, please tell me you want to see it pretty bad. And we're looking at it, and we're like, this is our only available night for pretty much the whole week. Are we filling it with the Lion King?
Yeah.
And we had that discussion, and it had ended with you being like, you know what? Like, if you really want to go, like, let's buy the tickets. Like, let's do it. Who cares? It'll be fun.
I don't really think that's how I said it.
That's pretty much how you said it.
No, it's definitely not how I said it.
You were like, buy the tickets.
I'm sure I said it like, I don't really care.
Well, you definitely said if you want to do it, buy the tickets.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I literally was like, I'm buying
Just don't put
the
too
tickets.
much emotion in my.
Yeah, sorry. I wouldn't want to make you look like you feel anything. I was like, I'm buying the tickets. And then like conversation ended. And somehow about 3 days later, you were like, I was like, okay, yeah, so Tuesday we have Lion King. And you were like, what? I thought we said we're not doing that.
Yeah. I was like, wait.
Whoa.
Did buy the
You
tickets?
filled our week?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it was
that's a tough hump for me to get over.
I agree.
Like,
I struggle with I
like
don't love filling
filling
the week.
every single day.
I know.
And like now, like today, we're recording this like well in advance because I'm about to be gone for an entire week.
Yeah.
And so today's Saturday. I leave tomorrow, and we're trying to figure out like what we're doing and stuff like that. And
Yeah, trying to pre-plan stuff is like not fun.
like we had to figure out when we were going to record. We still want
Yeah.
to try and watch another
Another
movie
movie.
club movie, so that way we're like still ahead because we're pretty busy over the next couple of weekends and stuff and things like that. So anyway,
At least for the rest of the year, we should have lots to report back on activity-wise. We're getting into our craziest time of the year.
hoorah.
Hoorah. Yeah, I'm excited to I'm going to attempt to keep notes of what I do while you're gone. So I have exciting updates for our next recording.
Okay.
I bet they will not be fun at all. Anyway. Oh, we did have some other really dumb updates that we've brought up in previous podcasts that I wanted to at least address. We tried pulled chicken. Spencer made pulled chicken, just like how he makes us pulled pork. And what did you think, Spencer?
It was good.
It was good.
It was good.
And it confirmed. I was like, if needed or wanted, I could exclusively eat chicken as like our meat.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I've known that for
Our
a while.
protein.
But we were like,
Hoorah.
oh, but pulled pork.
It's really funny.
That's the one thing. Sorry. I just feel like we confirmed the last food of doubt
No, definitely.
that we had.
And yeah, because that's the only pork product that we eat,
Right.
which is really funny.
Right.
And yeah, you've always said like chicken would have to almost be the same. Because at the end of the day, you're just slathering it with barbecue sauce and
Honestly,
stuff.
if you still just like season it how you like it, I don't see how you wouldn't like pretty much anything. And it's like everyone who just is like eats a plant-based diet is like, yeah, exactly. That's all we've been saying. Anyway, yeah, pulled chicken was great. We've been
And then yesterday you bought pork.
okay. I did. I know. I did because
Which I think like
it was
us doing the pulled chicken wasn't we're
No.
never going to eat pork again.
No.
It was more so just like
we don't need
sometimes pork can be ridiculously priced. And
Yeah.
like clearly it doesn't make that much of a difference. But
Yeah.
when you can get pork for a decent price, you might as well treat yourself.
There's a specific pork that we always get if it is buy one get one
Because it comes pre-seasoned.
Because it comes pre-seasoned
And
you
it
can just
nets
chuck
out
it
to
in.
roughly the same price as buying per
Just a
pound.
pork loin, yeah.
Roughly. Like you may be paying an extra $1, but it's
Yeah.
like, if I'm paying an extra $1 for the seasoning and stuff, cool.
Yeah, like there's like no work on my part. Like I just throw it in a crock
Cool.
pot and I'm done. Exactly. So I saw that and I did laugh. I was like, is it dumb to buy this when we just proved pulled chicken's
You're standing
fine?
in the grocery store going, ha ha ha. People are like, walk
Oh.
away from that
Yeah.
fucking nut.
I did have a moment of hesitation, but I was like, well, we didn't say we're restricting ourselves to chicken. It's just there's not a need to buy pork if like we're in the mood for that dish.
And you were saying all this to yourself, and people are just
Yeah.
staring at you.
Yeah, at least 2 people asked if I was okay. And I was like, no.
And you were
pork.
like, we never said we were only going to eat chicken. And they were like, please
"What?"
get away from me.
But yes, we tried pulled chicken. It was great. I'm excited. We're gonna put it on some probably nachos later. That's what I'm thinking.
I thought we were having the pizza.
Well, I'm really nervous about the chicken going bad, and you put so much time into making it. I don't want it to get gross. Unless you really want pizza, I'll have nachos by myself. Which would you rather? Pizza by myself, nachos by myself?
Really want that pizza.
All right, I want pizza. Okay. Also, this is the dumbest, shortest story of all time. I think this was last week, technically. We're sitting on the sofa, and Spencer looks at me, and he's like really staring at my shoulder. And I believe I was wearing a tank top. And he goes, "Oh my God, you have a lump on your shoulder." And I'm like, literally, all I do to test that is I lean back into the sofa to be like, am I about to feel pain if I put pressure on my shoulder? And I like move it, and I was like, I don't think there's anything. And you're like, no, here, give me your hand. There's a lump on your shoulder. And you guided my hand over the back of my shoulder, right on the tippy top, but like right off the side. And I just go, my bone? Because I genuinely couldn't tell if you were fucking with me.
Okay.
And that me going, my bone was going to be you being like, yeah, you idiot, like, or something. I don't know. I don't know how that would play out. It didn't play out well in that pretend moment. But it has cracked me up on a whim. Like, once a day, ever since.
To tell it from my perspective.
Yeah.
I looked over at you, and I think we were talking, and then I cut you off.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were like pretend bickering or what, but I like cut you off and was like, you have a lump on your shoulder. And you go, okay. Because you immediately had your guard up, like, stop fucking with me. And I was like, you have a lump on your shoulder. And like, it looked like a cyst.
Yeah.
Like, it was weirdly jutting out. I don't feel like our shoulders always do that, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't look at your shoulders very often. I'm not a pervert. It literally, like, it didn't look like so protruding.
Also, to be fair, the light is behind me, so like I totally can see that would like highlight something weird.
It literally looked like a cyst though, and so like that had me a little worried.
Yeah,
because like
no,
I care about you.
I appreciate it.
And like a cyst in your shoulder is probably not going to be the end of the world,
right,
as long as it's only a cyst.
Right.
But I was like a little worried, and I ran my finger over it, and it was just like a soft lump. Like it didn't like feel super hard or anything. I didn't press that hard. So I just kind of ran my finger over it, and I was like, yeah, no, you have a lump. And then I ran your finger over it, and you were like, that's my bone. And I just turned and like went back to what I was doing, and we both were just like shaking, like trying not to like burst out laughing over it. Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous, but check yourself for lumps.
Check yourself for lumps. But yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. Okay.
It's just so funny because this is this is genuinely us to a T. Like it's stuff like that, you know? It's like it's one of us being genuine for a fraction of a second and the other person just not allowing it at all. And it's always this way.
The other person goes, your genuine nature right now must mean you're about to fuck with me in the biggest way possible.
And normally it's me to you.
Yeah.
Like normally it's me being genuine.
Yeah.
And because I'm just a silly fucking guy.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not having it.
Yeah.
I'm not having it. You're not pulling a fast one on me.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to walk away laughing to yourself because you got me.
Right.
Which I still do plenty. And like that is a really great example of it because you got mad. You were like, okay. And I was just like, time out.
You're like, whoa.
Time out. Silly guy's gone. This is serious guy.
This is Dr. Speck.
But
I check for lumps.
It's also ladies. I check for lumps. And fellas. It's important.
All people.
All people.
Check your lumps.
Get your lumps.
Sorry, I keep.
The other great example of it that I will never forget is A Quiet Place 2. When we watch the trailer and Krasinski's in it for 2 seconds, and I'm like, weird that he's not in the trailer more. And you were like, shut up. And I was like, what? And you were like, oh, because he died. And I was like, he dies?
Because I'd forgotten you hadn't seen the first one yet.
Which we need to watch the second one, because
I
I'm like trying to
know.
figure out why he was in the trailer. He definitely was in the trailer for the second one.
It's
So they
definitely a
have to do a
flashback
flashback
or
or something.
Yeah.
But
We
that
do
was,
need to watch the second one so we can watch the prequel.
Yeah.
It's apparently pretty good.
That was I've heard middling results.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some
Damn.
people are like, this was a mishandling of the franchise, and other people are like, it's fine.
Huh.
Like, it's.
All right. Well, I definitely want to see the second one,
Yeah.
at the very least.
I mean, I want to. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to watch them all.
And it's getting spoopy out.
Yeah.
It's like 90 degrees.
Okay. But that has nothing to do with being spoopy.
It kind of does.
It does not.
It kind of does.
It does not.
Kind of.
It does not. I hate when I need to egg you
I
on.
thought the one that you were gonna quote was when you gaslit me into you didn't call me, but you definitely called me.
That was.
And you made me question my entire reality.
Yeah. That was one where.
There were a lot more moving parts in that. That wasn't a quick conversational, I just don't
yeah.
trust you.
You just didn't trust me. You were like, you absolutely called me. And I was like, no, I didn't.
Then
you, about 5 minutes later, I went, I did call you. Ha ha ha.
And then I didn't trust you.
And you laughed about it. And then we're laying down to go to bed. And you go, did you actually call me? And it's like,
it haunted
yes,
me
that
all
was 8
day.
hours ago. I already told you yes. I think I'd fucking lie to you?
Nothing like questioning your reality for a whole day. Anyway. Spencer, I have a question. Say you're meeting someone for the first time.
I'm meeting someone for the first time.
Thank you. What? This is a twofold. What are the actual top details that you think people should know about you in a first like you're interacting with the person in a hopes to become acquainted with them?
Uh-huh.
And what are the top details that you think people should know about you? You're gonna tell them you're tall.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna let them figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then
6'4".
And then second, do we need to be creating like decent, I'm gonna use this word carefully, icebreaker questions that make these first interactions a little bit more interesting without being really fucking painful? Because I love the idea. I can't even tell you. I've heard this bit from a lot of different places, but I couldn't even tell you one source, which is really helpful. Where it's like, stop having one of the first questions you ask someone be, what do they do?
Yeah. Yeah, that shouldn't be a defining feature for really anybody.
Right, because it doesn't matter what people do.
That information should be volunteered.
Exactly. Or like you get to it eventually. And then like, yeah. But it's like, I literally, as a person who like meets people at like events and like stuff, I fucking don't know what to ask. Like I really, like I sit there and I'm like, I clearly need to come up with a list of questions that are just a few go-to, easy breezy. What should we be asking people? Like, how do you like start off a conversation strong and intentionally without scaring the fuck out of someone and being like, that's a weird question to ask me? And I don't know. Like, I've really thought about this. And I am like, I literally fall back on the most annoying classic questions.
Like what?
Like, okay, we live in Charlotte. You know the safest question to ask anyone. I'm guessing you're not from. Are you from Charlotte or like elsewhere? Safest question.
Yeah.
Because almost everyone you meet is not from Charlotte.
Yeah.
And then that starts a conversation.
I think a good
you're
first
like, oh,
question
what brought
is-
you to Charlotte?
I think a good first question is like, where are you from?
Yeah. Like, you think that's a good first question?
Yeah, I think so. I think location is like a pretty solid way of connecting with people.
Yeah.
So, for example, you and I have now lived in 3 different areas. Like, we've lived in Pennsylvania, but we've lived within Pennsylvania in 2 different areas. We lived East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
We were Western elites for a little bit. West Coast elites of Pennsylvania.
You know,
Hoorah.
those big West Coast Pennsylvanians.
We lived in Boston,
Yeah.
and now we live in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, we touched 350, you know? And, like, we've lived in, like, the like, relatively speaking,
Metropolitan areas.
we've lived
of
in,
every
like,
state.
known areas
Yeah.
that, like, you can connect with people. So if somebody's like, I'm from PA, you go, oh my God, so am I. Whereabouts? And they go, I like just outside of Mechanicsburg, if you know where that is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, well, I'm from just outside Allentown.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wow, that's crazy. We at some point in our lives, we were so close potentially to each other.
Yeah.
And now here we are having this conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a really easy way to connect with people. And also, like, if you've even like traveled a little bit,
Sure.
like, you will have potentially been in an area if you haven't necessarily like lived there. So like if somebody's like, I'm from Indiana, and you're like, oh, I've only really passed through there, like, tell me something great about Indiana.
Yeah.
Right? But no matter what, you can like, no matter what, you are in the same place together at the same time.
Right.
And so then you can, what brings you here, or like if it's like a more your thing, like it would be weird for you at an event to be like, what brings you here? Like, to the event.
Right.
That's why I'm here.
Right.
But like, you know, I think like saying like, are you originally from Charlotte or from around the area, or like, did you move in? Why? And that's a pretty easy way to like start to learn a good bit about somebody. I actually don't think it's that like cringe or anything like that. I think like we've gotten so bad as like a society because we've gotten also like individualistic about like how we go about our days and stuff. That's really tough, I think, to like strike up conversation with people.
It is. And I do see it as somewhat of like a me problem in that like
It's definitely.
in that I just don't think it's something I excel at.
I'm the same way.
Like when someone okay, like there's a bit of a cultural difference between the Northeast and the South in the United States in that like the Northeast you like barely make eye contact and acknowledge each other's presence. Pennsylvania is a weird middle ground. It's not quite either. It's not either, but culturally speaking, it's also not really either. Like it's a weird in between. And then, but I feel like culturally it leans a little bit more Northeast than it does South. And then in the South, the big infamous thing is that people here like are really comfortable with small talk and like genuinely asking you how your day's going and like kind of trying to have a conversation. And there's definitely being in Charlotte's really funny that like you can tell there's like so many people here who aren't from the South because like those are happening in some places, not in others, etc. But what like breaks me is when like even someone else initiates the conversation, it is not natural to me to continue the conversation. It is natural to me to find an out and get the fuck out. Like find a way to end the conversation in a nice way and then walk away. And I'm just like, I'm not saying I want to become like Miss Conversational, like talking to every person I walk by, but it's like I do dislike that it is not natural to me to like someone just had a really nice like minute interaction with me. What's really the harm in like asking them something, reciprocating or something, you know? Like I feel like I'm the queen of like, haha, yeah, and then I leave.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I'm just like, I feel like maybe I need to have some questions ready. Of course, I could like, I just need to have something ready. Like, but I'm just, it's not natural to me. Like, it's so weird to me to be like, these are the questions I should ask a stranger.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like if it's the weekend, like you can say like, are you having a nice weekend? And if they say yeah, you just be like, oh, did you get up to anything fun? And then like if you're intruding, they'll walk away, and you'll be like, okay, I'll strike that one from the book.
No, you're right. I hate like how bad I am at it.
Yeah. I mean, anymore too, there's not like good like there's not good situations that like force you into, well, you think about like school,
Yeah.
right? Like it forces you into this like social interaction
Right.
with people, and like you can be as much of a loner, quiet person in the corner as you want, but like at the end of the day, you're still probably going to end up talking to somebody about something at some point, and like it kind of just evolves from that.
Yeah.
But like as soon as you're out of that, it's like, well, the only people you talk to are people at work, and like you just don't have time to strike up conversation with somebody in a grocery store or
Right. And
like
you like don't know how they're gonna like perceive that, and
yeah.
because everyone's kind of in a rush and everyone's just like in their own
So I
little
mean,
lane.
everything's gotten so like
I
individualistic that
know.
it like and then it's like the whole thing where you have a friend and you haven't talked to that friend in a while, and they also haven't talked to you in a while, and the dread of messaging them, knowing or calling them or whatever, knowing that it's been so long, so you just keep pushing it off, which only makes the time larger and
Yeah.
makes the interaction more awkward or worse,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth until it reaches a boiling point. It's literally like that.
Yeah.
And we like the more we've gotten away from just like striking up like a casual like how do you do, like the more we've gotten away from that, like the harder it is to like say those words and start that interaction, and it's just like gotten further and further apart. I'm saying that as somebody who like refuses and hates talking to people.
Right.
Like
Right. I know. It's just
bold
crazy to
bold
me.
of me to make these assessments of society when I myself are
I am society.
I'm not uh trying to fix it.
Right. I know. I admire people. Like when I meet people at events, especially, I admire people who are like so clearly good in that area and are just like so casual. And I'm just like, I feel like literally the way my brain processes that interaction is like someone walks into like my space, and I obviously just acknowledge them if it seems they want to be acknowledged. And then like I read their body language of like, do you want to continue a conversation or not? If they don't, obviously I'm totally fine with that. If they do, I'm just kind of like, I swear it takes me so long to like say anything. And it feels like, I feel like, how am I not being perceived as like, oh my God, this was such an afterthought to like say anything at all. Um, and I feel like it's always just like, because normally, at least for the past few months, it's been hot as shit. You're just like, I'm normally just like, man, like, glad you braved the weather to come out here. And I feel like it just comes out so uncomfortable. And that's me on interacting with strangers.
I just think it's so like funny because the situation that you're in is like you're either the vendor,
Right.
and so people will like be coming to you, right?
Right.
And like in those situations, I think everybody who is like on your side of the table, I think their responsibility to a customer is, "Hi, how are you?"
Oh, yeah.
and let me know if you have any questions. Like
Yeah.
you cut off the interaction and
Yeah.
you allow them that out and that grace, or like they will come to you if they have any questions.
Oh,
And then as soon as
absolutely.
they come to you with questions, you start explaining your work, and then like you ask them if they've ever like done art or done like sewing or anything like that, and like if they have any interest in like learning or something like that, and you have this and that and blah and blah, and then you can have conversations around that, and then it can divulge from there. And then if you're the inverse, if you are the on the customer side, like, and you're looking to try and engage more, right? Like they've done their checklist of, "Hi, how are you? Let me know if you have any questions. How's the event been going? Like, seems like there's a lot of people out. Like,
I
I'm hoping you're
know.
doing well. Like, um, do you need a water? I
Yeah.
don't know. Be a little errand girl."
I
I don't know,
know.
dude.
I'm just so bad at
It's
it.
weird though because again, like we just don't like get thrusted into situations that like you eventually just get so comfortable with somebody to a point where you're like, I don't even really know how we got here.
Right. No, I know. And then I'm like, but how did I do that?
You don't know.
I know. And I'm like, but how do I copy that and do it
You
again?
don't.
I know.
You
That's
know,
what's
if
annoying.
you do, it'll have just happened and you won't even realize that it happened.
I know.
And I think we need to like, I mean, we weren't mall rats or anything like that by any means, but we definitely grew up just on the tail end of malls.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it recently where it's just like, you have these massive epicenters that are just like a ton of space that are just not getting used anymore. And we really need to find a way to like turn them into like a hangout spot again.
Yeah.
That like people and like young people especially can like go to and like start interacting with other people like them.
Yeah.
Like I just saw a mall in St. Louis because I randomly will get St. Louis stuff like popping up on my feed because I follow the Cardinals. A mall, like a really like famous mall, I guess, or something. I don't know. I don't care. Who cares? It's a mall. Is like shutting down. And the picture that somebody posted in the center of the mall looked like there were tennis courts or pickleball courts. And I'm like, that's
Whoa.
fucking awesome.
That's so cool.
Like, yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
And like turn the lids that has closed into like a fucking penny arcade.
Right.
Like literally just something.
Yeah.
Like, but the problem is like, who's going to pay for that? And thanks, capitalism.
Mm-hmm. I know. Malls have simultaneously ruined us, and yet we want them to fix what it is that what they once provided.
Yeah.
Which I agree. Like that's like what I want. It's just very funny.
And I mean, like
cycle.
a park solves that issue too. But like, I'm literally saying that like the fucking problem is that there's this giant concrete block.
Yeah.
Where a park could be.
Right.
And instead, it's empty stores.
Yeah.
So like,
do something with it. I know.
Either knock it down and make a park, or make the park inside of it and like make something of it, right?
Yeah.
Like it can become an event space. You can like projectors are cheap. You can project a movie and like stuff like that, like at no cost too. And like the community can do that. You know what I mean? But
I wonder if that'll be the next thing. If like you know, whether it's like Parks and Rec or some sort of government or local, I don't know. I'm effectively trying to say local government, but if like a group that would organize public spaces, if they're going to start taking over malls in certain areas, like smaller areas, that would be really financially, like it's a lot financially anywhere, but especially in like cities, that's super fucking financially intense. So I wonder if like in certain smaller towns, if like certain departments will start seeing a value in taking over mall spaces. It's just ridiculous. The like, I mean, of course, again, I'm just complaining about capitalism, but it's just ridiculous. The, like the upfront costs that, you know, will go into that because of like all the stupid like development and who the fuck owns the land. Like you probably don't even want to know who owns the land.
Right.
And what they would like perceive as the value they should be getting for it. So stupid. Anyway, I like on one hand like want malls to die because of what they are, but on the other hand, like I agree, like I absolutely never want that. Like I hate driving by an abandoned mall because why'd we do that? What a dumb fucking move we did. But it's like,
but at the same time, it's like, why did we do that? And then you can literally look back 10, 15, 20 years and realize, oh, it was great.
Right.
The problem is we no longer do in-person shopping, and we no longer, or we just like anything that you could get at a mall, you can just go to the Walmart Supercenter that is even closer to you, which in some ways is good, right? Like you don't have to travel as far, and like the convenience and blah, blah, blah. And we're so ready to just sacrifice just about anything for convenience, which is in ways fair because we only are afforded so much time.
Right.
And so on and so forth. And that's how you get there. But like it's all compounding from the top. Like, like you can retroactively 2020 look at, you know, malls and be like, hindsight, this was stupid. But it's like, yeah, okay. But when malls were when the concept of malls came to be, nobody fucking thought Amazon was going to be what it is.
Right.
Or, like was going to be a thing.
Right.
No, like that's like going to a caveman and being like, one day you're going to drive around in a car. And they're like, oogu, oogu, which means I'll be dead. So
anyway, Um, if you have any top what you say to strangers, how you do basic conversations.
I really do feel like location. Don't talk about the weather, but like it's the
Don't talk
easiest
about
thing
the
to talk
weather, but it
about.
is really easy to talk about. Especially when I'm standing outside and like I'm like watching people trying to duck between tents. I'm like sometimes I sometimes okay, I think I said it really sarcastically saying it to you. I swear sometimes I'm like, "Hey, thanks for coming out. I know it's really hot. Like hopefully you're staying hydrated. There's a thing over there if you like are looking for anything." Sometimes I do that because I am like worried about people kind of like overdoing it when it's so hot. Um yeah, anyway. Um so yeah, if you have any go to like how do you start a conversation with someone or things of that nature, feel free to let us know in the comments. You can find this podcast on pretty much all podcast streaming services as well as YouTube at SMSoup Podcast. And you can find both of our socials in the description. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you guys next week.
And where are you from?